Welcome once again to Musings by Danon. Today we're going to discuss an extremely controversial archetype in Commander, Chaos. A Chaos deck focuses on bringing uncertainty to Commander. Rather than controlling the board or expertly piloting a complicated 4-card combo to exile your opponent's libraries, you let the flip of a coin or the roll of the dice determine the flow of the game. Chaos is not everyone's cup of tea. Most Commander players want to play the cards they have in their deck. They built that deck to be played, after all. I am a big fan of Chaos, but not all the time. Chaos can be fun, and playing a game with a Chaos deck at the table once in a while can be a blast. Which brings us to the subject of today's video. Maelstrom Wanderer is an 8-mana legendary 7/5 elemental that gives creatures you control haste. He also has Cascade twice. Cascade is a cast trigger, so while he's on the stack, you exile cards from the top of your library until you find a non-land card with lesser mana value. You may then cast that card without paying its mana cost. Remember, Commander tax does not increase mana value. So as we start to put together our deck, let's keep in mind our checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. I know that many people don't consider Cascade to be a true Chaos deck, but because we're just randomly digging through our own deck, it does have an element of Chaos to it. I didn't want to go full Chaos with cards like Warp World, but I did include some fun spells like Hive Mind, Possibility Storm, and Planar Chaos, as well as a few dice rolling cards. Cascade makes it so that cards which normally can only be cast via Suspend now come into play right away. So I've included 6 of them: Soul Talisman, Lotus Bloom, Ancestral Vision, Crashing Footfalls, Inevitable Betrayal, and Wheel of Fate. All in all, there are only 3 spells in the entire deck that can't be cast via a Cascade trigger from Maelstrom Wanderer, but they are all powerhouses, and I'll explain their inclusion as we move through the video. Let's start with card advantage, and I'll explain why. When playtesting an early build of this deck, I noticed I was regularly getting my Suspend cards in hand, when what I wanted to do was cheat those into play. So I included a bunch of cards that would let me reshuffle my hand into my library. Many of these also double as graveyard hate. To start, we've got Commit Memory, Game Plan, and Midnight Clock, all of which let us shuffle our hand and graveyard back into our library. I've already mentioned Ancestral Vision and Wheel of Fate, but we've also got See the Truth, which is perfect in a Cascade deck, Eternal Witness to get back a card from our graveyard, Creative Technique and Arcane Endeavor for some additional chaos, Muldrifter and Return of the Wild Speaker to help refill our hand, and an Escape to the Wilds for even more card advantage. Now, Commit Memory has a mana value of 10, so it will not be cast via Cascade. That being said, we were limited on budget options, and Commit Memory is simply an amazing card for how cheap it is. For board wipes, we've got Blasphemous Act, another spell with a mana value too high to be cascaded into by our commander. However, Volcanic Torrent is not, and can be a lot of fun to just randomly hit, especially since our commander is still on the stack and not in play when Volcanic Torrent resolves. As far as the rest of our interaction goes, we have the already mentioned Inevitable Betrayal, but we're also running Beast Within, Reclamation Sage, Chaos Warp, Krosan Grip, Negate, and Clear the Mind for additional graveyard hate. Additionally, for even more Chaos shenanigans, we have Perplexing Chimera and Natural Reclamation. I know the deck is a little light on interaction, not counting our Chaos spells like Possibility Storm and Planar Chaos, but with all the ways we have to dig through our deck, shuffle it up, and recast spells, it mostly works out. Finally, we come to the core of our deck. The first card I added to the list was Averna the Chaos Bloom. This deck is actually a birthday present for my wife and editor, Cute Stuff. Today is her birthday, so everyone wish her a happy birthday. I asked her to choose between Averna and Maelstrom Wanderer in the command zone. With all the Cascade effects we have in the deck, Averna is going to ramp us quite a bit. And what other creatures with Cascade do we have? Flamekin Herald makes Maelstrom Wanderer Cascade a 3rd time, but we also have Shardless Agent, Bloodbraid Elf, Wild Magic Sorcerer, Emoti Celebrant of Bounty, Aurora Phoenix, Boarding Party, Ethereum Horn Sorcerer, which can be recast as needed, Sakashima's Protege, Sweet Gum Recluse, Annoyed Altasar, and the very impressive and scary Apex Devastator. I did say we were a Chaos deck, though, and nothing brings the chaos like an Atali Primal Storm. Along with him, we're also running a Dazzling Sphinx and a Wildfire Devils. All 3 of those cards work wonderfully with Delina Wildmage. Sunbirdsification is not the same as Cascade, but it can create some crazy turns. Meteoric Mace is another fun Cascade card, and Unexpected Results is exactly what its name implies. To ensure we can cast all the high mana Cascade spells in this deck, I've included a Thrix the Sudden Storm. Finally, for both protection and shenanigans, we have a Release to the Wind. For mana ramp, I've already mentioned the 2 Suspend artifacts, but we're also running the old reliable Soul Ring and Arcane Signet. To fetch out extra lands, we've got Migration Path, Cultivate, Kodama's Reach, Farseek, Rampant Growth, Skyshroud Claim, Circuitous Route, along with both Steve and Sad Robot. So because we've got a Circuitous Route, we're running the 3 Guild Gates. Skyshroud Claim lets us fetch Forests, so we've got the typed Snow Duels as well as a Cinderglade. We also have a Shivan Reef and a Yavimaya Coast. Frontier Bivouac as our tricolor land, along with Command Tower and Exotic Orchard, a Myriad Landscape for ramp, as well as 10 forests, 7 islands, and 7 mountains. So let's take a look at our deck and compare it to our checklist. Lands and ramp comes to 50, 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, exactly where we want to be. Card advantage, not counting all the Cascade triggers, we're at 12. Spot removal, we're at 8. 2 board wipes, 3 pieces of graveyard hate, a little heavy, but 2 of those are incidental graveyard hate designed to help us refill our hand. No sudden I win cards in the deck, but Chaos isn't about winning. It's about the friends we made along the way. I've been playtesting this deck for a while, and I really hope Cute Stuff enjoys it. As far as upgrades go, we're mostly upgrading our mana base, while the core of the deck remains almost entirely unchanged. First, we're swapping the Myriad Landscape for a Ketria Triome, the Guild Gates for Bond lands, the Pain lands and the Check land for actual Check lands, and the type Snow Duels become Shock lands. And since we're dropping the Guild Gates, Circuitous Route is becoming a Mox Tantalite. These upgrades to the lands will really help speed up the deck, and I'm excited to see what kind of headaches my wife can cause at our local game store. Thanks for tuning in. It was a lot of fun to build this deck. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, there's a link to her Fiverr page below. Please like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you all again next time.